Minimum viable product. So what does that mean? It means that as you're going through these things, you want to put the minimum amount of effort into your creation to get feedback. Disney for our design sculpt process that they'll get into. What you're doing is you're taking what your minimum effort you can put into something is to gather feedback.
Can you guess who this is? That's Wreck-It Ralph. Can you guess who this is? Wreck-It Ralph. And this? Yep. How about this? All right, last one. You guessed it, Wreck-It Ralph. So after creating these MVPs, how do you narrow it all down? Better yet, once you decide, how do you refine your characters even further?
As soon as you know what that story is, then that should become the driving factor of your design choices. A simple example, if they said, okay, Wreck-It Ralph is now going to be a creature that comes up from underground and wrecks things. You have these two choices, this one or this one. For me, it becomes much more obvious which one you would choose, right? This one. For me, this guy clearly doesn't live underground. It's just their innate understandings of what this character implies that say, compared to this guy, that doesn't fit the story as well. So story becomes that driving force.
They're bad guys, you know, really, they're a gang.
They need to be the heavies, so they can't feel dinky. They need to be strong.
Each character in that gang had to have a purpose.
So you've got Stretch, the octopus, and she can scuttle up walls and go across the ceiling.
Big Baby is this big tattooed thug.
Chunk. He's not very smart, but he's all about muscle.
Twitch, action figure, bug, mutant, muscle guy.
Ken has the body we all wish we had.
Lasso's in charge because he's the smartest in the group.
You lost, little doggy?
Lotso is this plush toy, which is a stuffed animal. Furry, stuff with material. He's a little bit older.
You could tell this thing's been slobbered on. It's been kicked, pulled, tugged, covered with a blanket.
And so he drew on our sculpt, and that's exactly how we built him.
We had a series of plush Lotsos made, and those early plush prototypes were very important for us because they helped inform the further design of him. But it was also great for the animators.
So when he walks, you want to see these wrinkles. It's weird because a soft plush bear doesn't weigh much, but you want him to feel like someone he's got a cane, he's got a little weight to him.
If you start at the bottom, pay your dues, life here can be a dream come true.
What was interesting to us was analyzing the reasons why he was the way he was. And when we came up with this notion of a toy being lost and then going through all these obstacles to make his way back home only to discover that he had just been callously replaced, it felt very toy-like. I mean, it's important, if you're going to be in this world of toys, you want to give the toys problems that aren't human problems. You want them to be toy problems.
She don't love you no more. Now come on!
The reason to do animation is caricature. And good caricature picks out the elements that are the essence of a statement and remove everything else.
It's not simply about reproducing reality, it's about bumping it up.
One of the reasons I wanted Lou to be the production designer of this film is because he has a fantastic sense of flat 2D graphics.
It was really dictated by how far Brad would go with stylizing the characters and still have you believe that those characters could be in real jeopardy and have those real kinds of relationships.
It's not about looking realistic, it's about committing to a design and a character and the animation, committing to that.
When I think of all the characters and their unique frustrations, that's what most appeals to me about the movie. You could really empathize with any one of these characters.
When we started on the film, we didn't really know what it was going to be. It was just, what's the best design?
Both Tony Fucilli and Teddy Newton are excellent character designers, and they come at it from two different directions. Teddy got involved very early on The Incredibles, and he's all over the film.
I usually don't just do drawings of characters. I'll try to come up with maybe a gag I could put that character in. And it helps me kind of understand who the character is. And then their faces start coming out of that.
I think Teddy's collages have been a good source of inspiration. The boldness of the design we've continued to use throughout the movie.
I like calling them paper cutouts because when I do a collage, I like to just kind of use it as the colors or the textures. They were very quick and they could keep a very stylized shape. Whether it's that little hook on the end of Helen's hair, or it's Bob's dome-like head, or it's Dash's point to the hair, or Jack's little hair gives him sort of a spring, you know, just because the shape feels like it's kind of a bouncier shape than someone like Rick Dicker, where all the shapes are sunken, and Tony would really kind of flesh that out.
Breaking down the wild and weird backstory of Mater. Now, Mater was born in Radiator Springs on January 12, 1957. He was originally a shiny, blue, and dentless tow truck, and growing up, he'd spend a lot of his time with all of his cousins out west. He'd have spinning contests with his cousin Judd, he'd collect hubcaps with his cousin Buford, and of course, he'd do some tractor tipping with his cousin Cletus, which also meant he spent evenings running away from Frank. Mater, Judd, Buford, and Cletus would also often go fishing for junk in a nearby lake, and it was actually on one of those fishing trips that Mater accidentally tore off his hood for the first time. He'd recover it and wear it for years to come, but he wouldn't be able to keep it on forever. Cousins Tommy Joe, Zeke, and Lewis would also compete with Mater and the rest of his cousins in demolition derbies at Rust Bucket Stadium. There were many years where all of Mater's cousins would battle against each other in the Rust Bucket Race-O-Rama.
It's my favorite racing track in the whole world. Well, it's a family tradition.
But there are still more cousins to account for. Mater also mentioned that he had a cousin Betsy who was left at the altar, and a cousin Doyle who was the legendary car who originally taught Mater how to drive backwards.
There ain't no need to watch where I'm going. Just need to know where I've been.